Hello, world. Hello, world, and welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. We're broadcasting live from the Joy virtual studio right here in the beautiful Finger Lakes region of New York State. It is so great to be with all of you today. It is Wednesday, May 6th, the epicenter of yet another very busy broadcast week. And we have a lot to talk about today. You see the headline for today's show: Rage Against the Machines. Americans are rising up against big tech dystopia. This is following a blockbuster interview that I did yesterday with Jason Bassler. He is the co-founder of the Free Thought Project and one of the foremost experts in the world on techno-fascism and the rise of big tech. We had an unbelievable conversation yesterday. I highly recommend you guys go and check that out. We had a big picture discussion about what the future looks like with big tech oligarchs running everything. No democracy, no freedom, no liberty, no constitution or Bill of Rights. What does that mean for regular people? And it was somewhat of a scary show. I guess you have to get black-pilled before you get white-pilled. But we ended the show talking about what Americans can do and what Americans are doing. And so today, we're going to look into that among other headlines. But we are rising up. One of the biggest underreported stories in America today is everyday citizens rising up and killing massive big tech data center projects worth billions of dollars. And we have examples of that happening across the country, from Arizona to Missouri, Indiana to Oregon. Local residents are fighting back against sprawling data center campuses that threaten the power grid, water supply, property values, peace and quiet, and basic freedom. We're going to break down the shocking number of projects that are now being canceled or blocked, over 24 in 2025 alone. And we're going to spotlight what happens in these real wins. These are regular people, citizens rising up against the expansion of big data, big tech to the detriment of humanity, which we discussed yesterday in great detail. And I have a phenomenal video for you. It is linked in the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show. Will Hollingsworth, one of the best speeches I have seen in quite some time. A resident, regular guy takes down big data in 4 minutes. This was at a local town hall meeting, and you do not want to miss this. It was absolutely killer, absolute fire. And it's probably the reason that a lot of these big data centers are going down. And at this point, we've reported this on the show, nearly 50% of the projects that were slated to go into effect in the next couple of years have been either canceled completely or delayed because of community pushback. Resistance is not futile. This is proof that organizing, rising up, pushing back from the bottom up. We don't need Washington, D.C. to save us from big tech, the big tech fascists, big data, AI. We can do it ourselves from each and every community across New York or across this country. So yes, we're going to hit that today on the Shannon Joy Show. I want to say hello to all of you. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Substack, live right here on Rumble. I'm going to say hello to the Rumble chatters in just a moment. We're live on Twitter, Spreely TV, Roku TV, Apple TV, and every podcast platform you can imagine. It helps the Shannon Joy Show to grow. As you guys know, we are completely independent, not left, not right, not Democrat, not Republican, just the truth, a little bit of common sense, straight up, no chaser every single day. And we need more independent voices out there who are not going to carry water for either of these two-party political, corrupt politicians. And that's what we do here on the show every day. We have a lot of other headlines to get to as well. Another Trump pump and dump last night, 3 a.m. in the morning. Couple people made a cool $125 million. Again, insider trading, this time blatant, obvious. It's right in our faces. Axios is involved. And at this point, I mean, this is so blatant. It makes you wonder what they know that we don't know. The fact that Trump is not worried about the midterms, the fact that Trump has no problem initiating pump and dump schemes and insider trading based on news releases that they're going to end the war or start the war or open the strait or close the strait. I mean, we are looking now, and I have a list here. We're going to go through some of these, at least 4 in relation to ending the war in Iran, and 17 insider trading pump and dump schemes that have probably earned billions upon billions of dollars for those closely connected to the Trump administration. And it's absolutely disgusting. It is a double-barreled, in-your-face middle finger with an extra FU on the side. That's the way. They don't fear us. They don't care. They are absolutely pushing the pedal to the metal in all areas. So we have a lot to talk about today on the SJ Show. Make sure if you're watching today, please give us a thumbs up, a like, a share, a comment. I love seeing all of the viewers on YouTube and on Twitter, also Substack. Welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. We're going to take a look at your comments during the break. So hopefully we can get you guys involved in some of the commentary here on the SJ Show today. Tomorrow, mark your calendars. As I mentioned, make sure you tune in 12:05 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to start the show around 11:55 tomorrow. We'll intro the show, and then we're going to bring Tom Massey in at 12:05. We're going to start a little bit early today to accommodate his schedule. Congressman Thomas Massey going up against the swamp. He's been telling the truth ever since he went to Washington, D.C., and now it has put him in the crosshairs of not only the Democrat Party, but also the Republican Party as well, Trump Inc., MAGA Inc., and the deep state. And they are dumping hundreds of millions of dollars into the state of Kentucky to take him out. Tomorrow, we're going to talk to him here on the Shannon Joy Show. Lots of good news to report in that area. So make sure you keep it tuned right here tomorrow. Of course, we're live every day, right around 12:15 p.m. Eastern time. We go for about an hour and a half. It is news, culture, analysis, all from an independent perspective. Not left, not right. Thank you to our sponsors. We are going to hear from the Satellite Phone Store today, the Wellness Company, Shift Gold, and also PCM and Associates. We could not bring the SJ Show to you without our sponsors. So when we go to commercial breaks, please consider patronizing the companies that support the Shannon Joy Show. And we're going to be introducing some new sponsors in just a few days, which is really, really super awesome and super cool. So everything today is linked in the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show. You can get the SJ newsletter delivered right to your inbox every day by signing up for the Shannon Joy newsletter. Go to theshannonjoy.com. That's theshannonjoy.com. And you can sign up for the SJ newsletter and you'll never miss a Shannon Joy show. So how are we doing today? Zen Woman, I see you on the live chat. Hey, Strident Conservative David Leach. Great to see you on the live chat as well. We have Guitar Lily, CJP Rumble, Ollie Robin 9, and Enoch to us. Grace and blessings from North Carolina. Great to see you, Enoch. Love seeing new faces and new chatters on the live chat. Strident Conservative with this comment. Look for Donald Trump to begin using eminent domain to build his data centers. Well, he's going to try. The push out for the technocracy and tech fascism has been really focused in 3 major areas: emergency declarations, presidential memorandums or executive orders, legislation through the big, beautiful bill, and then also through private entity and private sector. And so we are looking at a systematic expansion of the digital police state by this administration and nearly everyone in Washington, D.C. And so, yes, David Leach, when we, the people, strike them down at the local level, I could anticipate the federal government trying to come in and restart these data centers, but it's going to be a heavy lift, and we have to keep going for the wins 100%. But yes, we'll keep an eye on that for sure. Zayada is with us today on the live chat. Guitar Lily, how eminent domain ever even became a thing, I'll never understand. Totally antithetical to the founding principles of the United States of America. And they have abused eminent domain for the past 50 years, 60 years. I mean, this is something that they have utilized and abused to essentially scoop up land. And I agree with you, Guitar Lily. This is antithetical to the founding of the United States of America. Ali Robin 9, great to see you as well. So let's get to the headlines for today. I want to start here with the pump and dump. And we'll talk about doomsday for the data centers, and we'll take a look at Will Hollingsworth, his epic testimony at a town hall meeting just a couple days ago. We're creating all kinds of trouble for the big tech oligarchs, and I love it. It's delicious, and we're winning. So we're going to look at that a little bit later in the program, but I want to start here. There's also a lot of alien bullshit out there right now, which maybe we'll go over. Because it's relentless, it's ridiculous, it frightens people, and it's complete BS. And so we might have to just devote a little bit of time today to go through it. Every time something goes wrong with the economy, every time the American people start to wake up and realize what is happening, how we're being fleeced, they're stealing from us, they're poisoning us, they're lying to us, they're abusing their power from Washington, D.C. in every way imaginable. And when things get too close to home, they always roll out the alien BS. And I'm just not buying it. You shouldn't buy it either, but we'll get into that. Earthquakes at Area 51. Yeah, 52 aliens. It's just insane. Just insane. Clones. I love it when she goes trucker mouth. I can't help it sometimes. I try not to curse. In general, I don't curse. But every so often, you need to drop a profanity to make a point. And, I think it's necessary. So this is really disgusting. And this is, again, becoming, there's definitely a pattern here. And what is interesting to me is just how blatant the crime family in Washington, D.C. and the criminals around Donald Trump who are absolutely fleecing Americans. They're engaging in completely blatant, out in the open insider trading. And last night, actually, early this morning, it was no different. Once again, and this was originally released, I believe, by the Kobayashi letter. And the Kobayashi letter is a very popular markets commentary account on X. And once again, they're calling out what looks like an extremely well-timed and suspicious and lucrative trade in crude oil futures. And this is all around the news of Trump announcing that he's going to be once again ending the war with Iran. By the way, the war with Iran has ended for the fifth time in 19 days. Okay, so they start it, they end it, they start it, they end it. And every time we get a headline or news of a new 14-point peace plan that's supported by China, or the opening of the Strait of Hormuz, or the closing of the Strait of Hormuz, every single time there's an announcement in the media, they use it to pump and dump all the way down and to absolutely fleece the American people and get filthy rich. It's a pattern. So this was from the Kobayashi letter. Breaking, according to our analysis, $920 million worth of crude oil shorts were taken 70 minutes before an Axios report. By the way, Axios, left-leaning news outlet, now being called out for colluding with insiders within the Trump administration on the news of the 14-day peace plan. That's interesting to note. It's not a right-wing news outlet. It's a left-wing news outlet. So these shorts were taken 70 minutes before an Axios report claiming that the U.S. and Iran were near that 14-point deal to end the war, which was also supported by China. So at 3:40 a.m. in the morning Today, nearly 10,000 contracts worth of crude oil shorts were taken without any major news. This is equivalent to about 920 million in notional value, an unusually large trade for 3:40 a.m. in the morning, notes the Kobayashi letter. At 4:50 a.m. Eastern Time, just 70 minutes later, Axios dropped a report that the U.S. is close to a memorandum of understanding to end the Iran war. By 7 a.m. Eastern Time, oil prices had fallen over 12%, with these crude oil shorts gaining approximately $125 million. Minutes later, Iran launches the Persian Gulf Strait Authority and oil prices surge plus 8%. So what just happened here, asked Axio? Well, what happened was, once again, insider criminals made a quick $100 million. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Marjorie Taylor Greene had this to say about this. When is everyone going to start realizing that the manic on again, off again war peace rhetoric is really just insider trading? Blatant, in our faces insider trading. Sprinkle in a little bit of murder, she adds in there, and only a select few at the top tax bracket are benefiting from this. And the majority of you are not. Adam Cochran had this to say: 900 million in oil shorts right before the Axios article. I found at least another 100 million in the same kind of trades on chain, meaning multiple insiders knew about it and they knew about the article that was forthcoming. Outrageous. There are more and more players now as everyone is getting in on the casino that Donald Trump has created in the United States of America, which is now impacting global markets as well. The insiders are so blatant at this point, they aren't even trying to hide it anymore. This is an in-your-face, double-barreled middle finger plus an extra FU to the American people. And that's what I had to say about it on Twitter. Absolutely disgusting. Now, this is the fourth in just recent history involving Iran. Again, I mentioned Donald Trump has ended the Iran war for the fifth time in 19 days. And there are at least 4 documented instances of this exact pattern happening. So large crude oil short positions placed minutes, hours before major de-escalation, peace-related news, or links that are tied to the Trump administration since Trump took office in 2025. And this is just a quick list. On March 23rd, 2026, there was a $500 million to $580 million short 15 minutes before Trump delayed Iran strikes and oil dropped shortly. April 7, 226, $950 million in shorts hours before the U.S.-Iran ceasefire announcement, which never happened. April 17, 2026, $760 million in shorts 20 minutes before the Strait of Hormuz was declared to be open, which is now closed again. May 6, 2026, today, $920 million in shorts 70 minutes before Axios reported. This is a recurring theme, and they're not even hiding it. This makes every bit of corruption within the Biden administration look like child's play compared to what this president is doing. It's the same playbook each time. Massive pre-news short, then a headline drops, the price crashes, and there's a reversal on Iran action. Now, this is just in relationship to Iran. There are also reports of dozens of shorts and insider trading regarding crypto or news from the White House. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. What do you think about this? I mean, and meanwhile, the United States, despite what we're seeing in the stock market, I mean, it's wild, it's volatile. Trump himself said that everything is a casino, by the way. Take a look at this video. This happened just a couple days ago, about a week ago. A reporter asked Trump about allegations of insider trading. And this statement from the president was not pushed out in the way. It was ignored by the mainstream news media. It was ignored by right-wing news media, and largely ignored even by, America First independent media. But he's admitting, I mean, you tell me what you think about this clip, because we're not in Kansas anymore. We're in a whole new world of criminal activity in the United States of America, activity that used to be hidden by previous presidents, both Democrat and Republican, and previous administrations. This is opening up the floodgates. This is Marie Antoinette, French Revolution. Let them eat cake. We don't care. This is the worst of tyranny. They're laughing at us. They're mocking us. It's a humiliation ritual. And they're daring us to do something about it. And far too many Americans are asleep at the wheel and don't even realize. All of this corruption, this type of corruption is part of the reason why the economy, the American people, the average mom and pop business are feeling so squeezed today. It's corruption in Washington, D.C. in a million different ways that we've documented here on the Shannon Joy Show for over a decade. It's now just getting to be untenable for so many Americans. But this is what Donald Trump had to say about that. Let's play the clip.
If he bet against his team, that would be no good, but he bet on his own team. I'll look into it, yeah.
There are also bets that are being placed as well on the Iran conflict, too, and there have been some trackings where people suspect that there's insider trading happening on these prediction markets around the war. Are you concerned?
Well, the whole world, unfortunately, has become somewhat of a casino. And you look at what's going on all over the world, in Europe and every place they're doing these betting things. I was never much in favor of it. I don't like it conceptually, but it is what it is. No, I think that I'm not happy with any of that stuff, but they have all these different sites. They have predictive markets. It's a crazy world. It's a much different world than it was. Please.
Unbelievable. Well, unfortunately, the whole world is a casino, says Donald Trump. This is the gift to the United States of America from the criminal-in-chief, Donald Trump. The whole world's a casino. You have to gamble your retirement, gamble your pension. In fact, we're gambling with your retirement and with your pension. We're gambling with your dollar, with your currency. We're pumping and dumping. We're fleecing you. We're abusing the American people. And guess what? That's just the way it is. That you just have to live in the casino that Donald Trump built for you, America. He's not changing anything. He's not going to look into it. He's not going to investigate this. Well, the world's a casino. And guess what? Only the insiders win. The house always wins when it's a casino. That means you're fucked, all of you. I'm sorry, trucker mouth. Sorry. The house always wins. The little guy never wins in a casino. And this administration and this president have succeeded in turning the United States of America and our economy into their own personal piggy bank and a casino for the rest of us. And they're crushing us all. It's disgusting. You don't hate this man enough. You don't hate him enough. And if you're still on the Trump train, if you're still smoking the hopium and riding the MAGA train, I feel sorry for you because you're going to be in trouble. What do you do? What does the American person do in the casino where you control nothing? It's all a gamble. You don't have access to good information. There's absolutely no stability. How do you run a business in that environment? How do you raise a family in that environment? How do you plan for the future? How do you buy a home or land or plant a garden in Donald Trump's casino? Come on. It's outrageous. It's outrageous. Arbitrary and capricious. And this is why we have to stand up and fight back. What I am doing, what are you doing? I'm in a little bit of everything, to be honest. In terms of Trump's casino, I'm trying to sit this one out. I'm not really in the stock market, not a whole lot. I have a little bit, but honestly, this is not financial advice, okay? But this is just what I am an average middle income American mom with a husband, a couple plants, a 3-legged cat, and 3 kids. I have a mortgage. I have car payments, all of the things, okay? This is what we're doing. We are out of debt. If you can get out of debt, get out of debt. Try to get cash on hand. I have cash. I know what people say about the dollar and the currency. We don't know where things are going. So have a little bit of cash on hand. Number one, out of debt. Number two, we have cash. Number three, I have been purchasing physical gold and silver for 10 years, a little bit of time over the years. And we are certainly in metals. We also have a metals backed IRA. I'm in the stock market a little bit. My husband has a pension. I'm not even counting on that. I mean, because what are they going to do to our economy? It's insane, right? So our philosophy, what we're doing at my home is really just like holding on tight. I'm white knuckled on this roller coaster with all of you and stocking up on food. We have land, we have real estate. We have a bug out location and in case, the zombie apocalypse happens, right? So, we have a place to go deep in the country. We have a lot of family out there, but yeah, I don't know. Other than that, eat, drink, and be merry. Live your life. Okay. Because this is all a casino. It's a roller coaster. There's nothing to hold on to. Nothing is real. Everything is fake and gay. Everything is a lie. And every day they lie to us. They manipulate us. They abuse us. And it's disgusting. Take care of your family. Get involved with your community. Talk to your neighbors. Go outside. Put your feet in the ground. Breathe in the fresh air and live. Because these people in Washington, D.C. are psychopaths. Absolute psychopaths. Zen woman, what can we do besides localism? Nothing. This is why I pitch it. This is why I am so obsessed with becoming independent, emancipated, not left, not right. Forget about what's going on in DC. There is no way I'm voting in a presidential election, by the way, ever again. It's not happening. Okay? Not happening. I'll vote locally. You guys know I'll get involved locally. I mean, heck, I'm running for lieutenant governor of New York State with Larry Sharpe on the independent line. By the way, we have a big event planned at the Lilac Festival this Saturday in Rochester, New York. So if you're in the area, Larry Sharpe is going to be at the Lilac Festival. I will be with him. And I do believe we're going to have a meet and greet after that. So make sure you go to LarrySharpe.com. That's Larry Sharpe, SHARP with an E.com. to get information on where we're going to be and what time we're going to be there. So I'm all about getting involved. And I know all of you are all about getting involved. And I don't even care if I win. I just want to be involved. I don't care about outcomes anymore. I just want to get out there and meet people and talk to people and try to do something differently than what we've been doing in this country for the past 50 years. These federal elections, national elections, are so rigged. They're so absolutely rigged, especially the presidential elections. Most important election ever is what Trump Inc., MAGA Inc., and Con Inc. are trying to push down our throats as we move up to the midterms. No way. Now, if you're in Kentucky, though, turn out. If I lived in Kentucky, I would be voting for Thomas Massie. Thomas Massie is going to be in the Joy Virtual Studio tomorrow, live, 12:05 p.m. Do not miss it. Do not miss it. So yes, the corruption, the insider trading, the pumping and dumping, the scheming, the scamming, the criminal activity of the Trump administration is just getting worse and worse and worse. And it seems as if there's nothing that we can do about it. So we're just going to have to be along for the ride. But in the meantime, get your house in order if you can. Now, one of the ways that I do that, you guys know, my partnership with Schiff Gold and Peter Schiff is one of, I have to tell you, Peter Schiff has been a source for the Shannon Joy Show for over 10 years. He became a regular guest on the Shannon Joy Show about 2 years ago. And recently, just a few months ago, we entered into a partnership. Peter Schiff and Schiff Gold are sponsoring the Shannon Joy Show, and they're advertisers here on the show. And it is such a great partnership. If I could pick the perfect gold partner, it would be Peter Schiff. And I actually sought him out. I went after him. I said, Peter, I don't want any other gold companies. There are a lot of shysters out there, a lot of scams out there. You've been around forever. You know what you're doing. You offer people some of the lowest spot prices on gold and silver, primarily because he doesn't advertise. at all, except for on the Shannon and Joy show. And he's just such an amazing wealth of information, an amazing resource. He gives this information to everyone. He does a regular broadcast. He has a regular podcast. And so I just feel so good sending all of you, if you want to begin to learn about a gold strategy, start at shiftgold.com/joy. That's shiftgold.com/joy. Everything you need to get started. They have a toll-free number you can call so you can talk to a human person about physical gold and silver, gold and silver, backing up your retirement with gold and silver, moving a portion of your retirement funds into a gold-backed IRA. They have options for that. Everything you need, plus Peter's podcast, his newsletter, all the information and the reports that he puts out. There's so much information there, and you need to get started. The worst thing that people can do right now is to put their head in the sand and pretend like this isn't happening. You can do something today, and it starts with going to shiftgold.com/joy. That is shiftgold.com/joy. All right, the live chat is feisty. We're going to go to break. During break, if you're on Substack, you're on YouTube, you're on Twitter, put your comments and your questions in the live chat. I'm going to see if I can find them and read them to you when we come back. We'll have this discussion. Now, listen, people feel pretty helpless in a lot of ways. We are not helpless. We are not victims. There's a lot that we can do as Americans. And the headline on today's show, I wanted to start with like the bad stuff and the negative stuff. The positive aspects here, we're beginning to see in pushback, massive amounts of pushback from regular people, from the bottom up against big tech. And it looks like it's doomsday for data centers. Not all of them, but a lot of them. As Americans are pushing back, we're going to feature an amazing speech from a citizen at a local town board meeting in opposition to the data centers. Will Hollingsworth, absolutely epic, fire speech. It's 4 minutes long. You guys are going to love it. Hopefully we can make that go viral and share it out everywhere, because resistance is contagious, right? Courage is contagious. Standing up. When people see wins, they think, oh, well, maybe I can do that in my backyard. If so-and-so can accomplish that in Ohio, well, why can't we accomplish that in Idaho, right? So our resistance, we need to know about it. We need to celebrate it. We need to pursue it. Even if we win or lose, we have to keep going, because the more people see the victories, the more they will be willing to engage in the right way, not shuffling off to an election booth or a ballot booth every 4 years or putting a presidential sign in your yard. That's the wrong way to engage in civics in the United States of America. That's the equivalent of doing the same thing over and over and over and going crazy, right? We need to do things differently. And that is going to be local organization and local pushback. And we have a lot of examples of that we're going to get to when we come back. Ali Robin 9, if we push back hard enough, we just might get our country back. You are absolutely right. And here's the secret. You don't need a majority of people to push back. You don't even need 40% of the people to push back. You don't need 30%. You really don't even need 20%. Okay? A small, motivated minority of people pursuing truth and justice and rule of law and common sense can change the entire country. And we've seen it happen before. So we're going to talk about that when we come back right here on the Shannon Joy Show. Sat123.com/joy. Everything that you're going to need for preparation: generators, solar panels, Faraday products. If you want to disappear and protect yourself from the surveillance state, they have an entire line of amazing Faraday products called dark bags. They're always 10% off at the satellite phone store if you go to sat123.com/joy. That is sat123.com/joy. The satellite phone store has supported the Shannon Joy Show for many years. They are amazing partners, and let's help the companies that help keep the lights on here at the Shannon Joy Show. So if you are in the market for any of their products or services, make sure you use that promo code JOY and go to sat123.com/joy. That's sat123.com/joy. But I do want to talk about parasites. So, as you know, there's been a big medical hack of 2025. Everyone's talking about parasites. In fact, my husband, devastatingly handsome Dr. Joy, was recently talking about parasites as well. It's one of those topics that just has not made its way into the mainstream conversation about why we get sick, right? You go to the doctor and it's either a virus or a bacteria or virus, but you never hear a doctor ever saying, well, maybe it's a parasite, right? So there's a lot of emerging research on this. And one of the best thing that's happened in 2025 was several peer-reviewed studies that identified direct connections between anti-parasitic medications having off-label benefits, fighting a variety of cancers. So this makes a lot of sense. The connection between tumor growth and parasites has been known for years. Now, while currently the CDC remains silent, they have admitted, finally, that millions of Americans are suffering from parasitic infections that often go undetected or undiagnosed. This is why Dr. Peter McCullough, Chief Scientific Officer over at the Wellness Company and the world's most published cardiologist, says, quote, these studies make a clear case to do at least one medical grade parasite cleanse every single year. And the TWC parasite cleanse is the real deal. This is not your mother's cleanse. This is not some supplement. This is an amazing product. It is the Wellness Company's proprietary USA compounded ivermectin plus mebendazole. It is a doctor-prescribed gold standard combination dose, and it's designed to help the body eliminate parasites plus a lot of other incredible benefits. Each bottle contains 90 capsules, and it's enough to complete a 21-day cleanse. So the formula cannot be found at your local pharmacy. There's no equivalent out there. But the Wellness Company removes all of that red tape by making the process fully digital. So all you have to do is fill out a quick intake form. A doctor will review the form, and your medical grade parasite cleanse will arrive to you within a week. So this is a once a year cleanse. It is worth every penny, and it's time for people to get healthy and pay attention to the parasites. So head to twc.health/joy right now. twc.health/joy. That is my landing page. If you use the promo code JOY, that's JOY, they're going to take $60 off your parasite cleanse. Plus, they're going to give you free shipping. That is only at twc.health/joy. That is twc.health/joy. Annie has popped up the QR code in the corner of the screen. You can click on that or just hover your phone over it to go right to my site and enjoy a very special gift for the SJ audience. $60 off plus free shipping on every order when you use the JOY promo code. And by the way, use the JOY promo code every time you shop at TWC. If you're already plugged in, you're already using some of their products, make sure you use that JOY code so they know I sent you. Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show. Super thankful for our friends over at the Wellness Company. And I'm thankful for all of you. I want to give a little bit of love to our YouTube audience. We have so many people watching on YouTube, and the SJ Show is growing very quickly. I think last month, I just began to pursue a YouTube strategy about a month or two ago. And in just the last month, I think we did somewhere around 17,000 views, which in the grand scheme of things is not a whole lot, but we're growing very, very quickly. And it is because all of you. So I'm going to have to, here's the thing about, I need my glasses to read these. Here's the problem too with self-producing. And I am self-producing the SJ Show today, by the way, hoping that Annie is doing well, and hopefully we can grab her and get her back in May producing the show. She just has some personal business to take care of, so she's taking a month break. But I can't see anything, and I have to use my readers because honestly, working the show, I can't see what I'm doing. But anyway, so YouTube, you guys are amazing. I want to say hello to Howdy12D. Hey, Shannon, really like your show. I'm super glad to see you, Howdy. We have Sharon Zarlaki. All right. People are speaking out against big tech and others that are against us and ready to demolish us. Absolutely. Mark Ballo, great to see you on the live chat on YouTube. Welcome. I love people who speak up when injustices are happening, and I will never support people who stay quiet. Mark Ballo, thank you so much. That's my philosophy as well. In terms of winning and losing and going for justice, a lot of people will say to me, oh, Shannon, there can never be any justice. We never win. The bad guys are too powerful. They have too much money, and we never, ever get justice. And I just reject that type of thinking wholesale. And a lot of that comes from my Christian faith. In the Old Testament, I forget which chapter it was. I think it was Isaiah. God commands his people to seek justice. God doesn't promise that we will achieve justice or that we will get to justice, but he commands us to seek it. Seek justice, defend the fatherless, plead for the widow, right? And so the victories are his. I don't worry about that, but we are never ever to stop seeking justice. So thank you so much, Mark Ballo, for your comment. I see you, the lunatic libertarian. Great to see you on the live chat. Deepwater One is with us on the live chat as well. And yeah, the lunatic librarian saying definitely market manipulation on the last pump and dump from Trump. So yeah, thank you so much to our YouTube audience. Make sure that you're giving us a thumbs up and you're commenting and sharing. That helps us to grow the Shannon Joy Show. Buskman says it's Micah 6:8. Shannon, Micah. I think that there's another, there might be a scripture like that in Micah, but I'm pretty sure there's one in Isaiah as well. And I'm sorry, guys, I might have to wear my glasses. I'm fighting the spectaculars. I really am. I'm almost 50, and I swear my eyes, they just went to hell over the past year. And so I'm working on changing my prescription. I can't see anything close up. It's just really bad. So I just might have to, rip the Band-Aid off and start wearing my spectaculars more on a regular basis. Hey, Ali Robin 9. Scott Gordon, great to see you on the live chat on Rumble. Mama C 1996, I see you as well. Andrea 62703. I'm gathering signatures for a third-party candidate here in Illinois. Andrea, I love that so much. And yeah, every little bit counts. Everything that we can do absolutely counts. Zen Woman says they make me look smart. Okay. I mean, these are Amazon like $5 readers. I have them all over the house now. It's hard. It's awful. I'm not looking forward to turning 50. Not at all. Ooh, clones. Shannon, look up the Bates method to help get out of readers. I am fascinated, clones, about the Bates method. I've never even heard of it, but I would love to look into that. So link me in the show notes or link me in the chat and I'll check it out. So let's talk about the data centers. Is it doomsday for the data centers in the United States of America? I know the adversaries of liberty and the big tech bros, people like Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg and all of the people surrounding President Trump in the Oval Office and in his cabinet. And it just seems like it's inevitable. In fact, there was an enormous amount of propaganda pouring into social media and on mainstream news media over the past 2 to 3 years about the inevitability of artificial intelligence achieving, super intelligence and rendering human minds unnecessary. There, lots of chatter and propaganda about the robotization, right, of everything, like robots everywhere. Elon Musk is behind a lot of that. Oh, you're not going to there's nothing for humans to do anymore. Humans don't need to think. They don't need to have jobs. They don't need to do anything. The robots and the AI are going to do everything. And of course, if we have robots and AI, well, then we have to have, and if we're collecting, gazillions of data points on, everything that moves across the globe, well, you're going to have massive data centers. They all play together, right? In this new dystopian, techno-fascist world order that they have envisioned for us. And so there was a sense of doom and gloom and inevitability, even though regular humans are really not comfortable with robots everywhere, robot police officers, robots in their house, robots doing things. I mean, creep factor is definitely there. People are not cool with drones flying around and surveilling us, taking pictures of us, capturing video of us, spying on us. People are not comfortable with flock cameras around every corner, marking, our or gathering information on our vehicles and our travel patterns and our license plate numbers and the appearance of our cars, all the things. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants pre-crime initiatives, AI deciding whether or not you're going to commit a crime and then penalizing you for it before you commit the crime. Nobody wants that. Artificial intelligence taking over the justice system, artificial intelligence taking over the US government, taking over the IRS. I mean, oh my gosh, can you imagine trying to get through to an IRS agent? Can you imagine, getting a letter in the mail from the AI generated IRS agent saying that you owe $10 million in your taxes and then trying to figure that out when there are no humans? Like, nobody wants that. Nobody wants this. But they are desperately trying to convince us that it's inevitable and that there's nothing we can do about it. And that's not to say that we hate technology. Technology is good. There are certain things about technology that are great and we should keep. But everything rests on these data centers. Again, if they don't have the data centers, they can't crunch the numbers or the data. All right, that's the bottom line. They can have all of the AI in the world, all of the surveillance in the world. They can have access to all of our information, which is terrible enough as it is. But if they don't have the data centers, then there's no way to crunch that data and then use it against us, which is what they ultimately want to do. So this is where we have an opportunity to absolutely crush them and create a lot of problems for the tech bros and the tech fascists in the rollout of the technocracy and techno-fascism in the 21st century. So I am watching a couple of accounts on Substack that are growing very quickly. They are teaching people. Raynette Senum is one account that I would highly recommend on Substack. Leslie Manukian is another very good organizer. But these are brilliant women who are educating people on how to push back in their own communities. And their efforts are bearing fruit. And it could spell doomsday for data centers. So just in the past, there are, as I mentioned in the introduction of the Shannon Joy Show, over 50% of the projects, the data center projects that were slated to go into effect across the country have been either canceled completely or postponed. But we're seeing specific examples now that are very, very important and could actually do some damage in the rollout of the technocracy. So a lot of these projects are canceled, withdrawn, or blocked, or significantly stalled due to local opposition from residents, community groups, and officials. And we have examples in Arizona. We have examples in Missouri. We have examples in Indiana and in Oregon, among others. And we're going to look at those in a minute. But the reason I wanted to go into this, yesterday, there was a clip that has gone viral on Twitter that I think will very nicely set us up for this discussion about what it means to have a massive, like 60 square mile sized data center in your backyard, what that's going to do to the community. First and foremost, the numbers that they're crunching in those data centers are going to be used to enslave us. So we really have an interest in preventing them from being able to do that. But number two, just the physical infrastructure of these data centers are a disaster, an absolute disaster. And I haven't seen a better explanation of this than the one that I saw last night on Twitter from a fellow named Will Hollingsworth. He is leading the opposition to a proposed data center in Portage County, Ravenna, and that's in Ohio. In about 4 minutes and 46 seconds, he essentially took apart the entire rationale for building a data center in his backyard. And I want to take a look at what he had to say and then hear from all of you and then talk about it's people like Will Hollingsworth. Why are we seeing these data center projects fall apart? And why is that accelerating? It's because of people like Will Hollingsworth, who is raging against the machines. And we all need to rage against the machines. So let's take a look at what he has to say, and then we'll come back for discussion right here on the SJ Show.
Yes. So, Mr. Hollingsworth, I know that you had your hand up to talk.
Hello, my name is Will Hollingsworth. I work at Reed Memorial Library, and thank you all for hearing me today. I'm not a cynic when it comes to technology. My love for it started when my uncle first sat me down at a beige Windows 95 computer and began teaching me HTML. I will never forget the first thing I Googled. It was an image search for pigs flying. I wanted to see if the internet could make the impossible real. This love of the digital shaped my career as I went on to become a programmer and a professional content creator. For the last decade and a half, I have been in service of learning burgeoning technology. In my last job, I was the digital artist they trusted to do that kind of work. I was the one feeding Midjourney prompts to create the perfect commercial, training the very machine that would eventually replace me, as 3 months later, they would lay me off. I didn't just watch it happen, I was holding the tools when the tools were turned on me. I want to stress, I don't stand here as an enemy of progress. The thing is, when I look at the data center proposal, I don't see progress. I see a gamble where the big tech companies get the gold while Portage County foots the bill. Now, I know there are good faith arguments for this project. There are people in our community, informed, honest people, who will tell you that the modern data centers use what's called a closed loop system. They say the water is filled once and recycled forever. In a laboratory, that might be true, but we aren't living in a laboratory. We're living in Ohio. I can tell you that as the chips get smaller and AI demands get larger, the heat these machines generate is outstripping the closed loop theory. To keep the servers from melting, a data center has to bleed the lines to remove toxic sludge, aka forever chemicals, and bleeding water needs to be evaporated. It does not stay in the loop. It evaporates into the sky by millions of gallons. The very place that laid me off was an organic mattress company, and while working for them, I actually learned a lot about forever chemicals. I got to see how the sausage gets made. I saw the inside of those so-called regulations. I saw how rigorous studies are often self-funded, a pay-to-play model where if you've got the cash, they'll give you the certificate. If a trillion-dollar company is funding the study that says their forever chemical runoff won't hit our water table, they aren't giving us the science, they're giving us a sales pitch.
Preach.
We're told that we have to accept this because we need big employers. We're told that if we don't say yes, we're driving away the future. But that's a false choice. A big employer who uses the water of 50,000 people, which by the way is a combination of both Kent and Ravenna, only hires about 10 people is not an employer. They are an extraction. We are being asked to fund a 21st century luxury with a 19th century resource heist. We are being asked to sacrifice the lifeblood of our city so a trillion-dollar company can save a fraction of a cent on its margins. We are being asked to drain our reservoirs so a chatbot can write a poem or so our sheriff can generate a picture of himself standing next to Bigfoot. Which, by the way, of course, he made himself look taller. They want us to trust a trillion-dollar industry that tells us with a straight face that they can suck 5 million gallons of water out of our ground a day, use it as a liquid heat sink, and return it to our rivers without a single consequence. They are asking for a measured approach while they hide their actual usage behind secret contracts and NDAs. Ohioans have seen this trick played before. We know what happens when massive utility interests and black box energy deals get fast-tracked behind closed doors. We're still paying the bill, literally, for the first energy scandal. We were told these bailouts were essential and measured too, and it turned out to be the largest racketeering plot in the history of our state. So when a trillion-dollar company asks for our water, our electricity, and our silence, we shouldn't just be asking for the facts. We should be asking who's really getting the kickback, and why is it our reservoir that's on the line? There is a reason the Ohio House just voted 88-0 to pause and study this industry. It wasn't an act of cynicism, it was an act of stewardship. They realize we cannot let these ghost towns move in then before we understand the damage they do to our grid and our water table. We are the county seat. We are the stewards of the Great Lakes Basin. Let Ravenna be the city that had the wisdom to say no to the bubble and yes to the basin. I am not a cynic when it comes to technology. I am a believer in community. I believe that a drop of clean water for a Ravenna child is worth more than 1 billion AI-generated images. Let us choose the child. Let us choose the community. Let us choose to keep our water where it belongs. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, who
And
wants to
that was Will Hollingsworth, brought the fire to Portage County, Ravenna, Ohio, and in 4.5 minutes laid out one of the most compelling arguments against data centers that I have seen in quite some time. The question is, what are they even doing? He didn't get into what they're doing with the data centers. He is talking about the impact on every single resident and citizen, the kickbacks, the racketeering, the criminality of what these people are doing. And we have seen this happen across the United States of America for far too long. He said that data centers promise progress, but they're actually just an extraction. One large facility could use water equivalent to 50,000 people. That's insane. While employing only 10 people. That's one of the craziest elements. Interestingly enough, we're not having a problem with this in New York State, by the way. If you guys want an update on what is going down here in New York State, we might have a couple of projects in the hopper, but I'm going to say it's, the wacko, tree hugging environmentalists here in New York State are apparently keeping us safe from some of these major projects, even though we're in a blue state. In fact, the worst states for these projects are red states. Texas is number one with over 160 projects in the hopper. Ohio has almost 100 in the hopper, and Virginia. So this is more at this point of a red state problem than a blue state problem. But the craziest thing about these data centers is they're not even creating jobs. Like normally when a corporate crony or a pay to play situation is playing out in your local community and, people who are connected to power are getting no contest bids and sweetheart deals and tax breaks for as far as the eye can see, right? Usually when that happens, they're at the very least, promising multi-years of big jobs, right? It's going to, we're going to dump this many $1 million into the community. We're going to create 500, 1,000, 1,500 jobs. Those jobs will be around for 15 years, whatever it is. They always lie. They always exaggerate. But I mean, this is the worst of every scenario you can imagine is a data center. He didn't even talk about the electricity, what it's going to do to people's electricity prices. He didn't talk about what people are experiencing as I speak to you today. Those are some of the videos that I'll bring maybe in tomorrow. But I don't know if you guys have seen people taking videos of what their life is like post data center. There is constant light. It's like perma light. There's never night anymore or darkness because the data centers give off a very eerie, consistent glow that has erased the night in their communities. The data centers also hum. It's like a hive and it's loud and it's contributing to noise pollution. People can't live in their homes. It's also shaking the ground. I saw a video just yesterday of a resident. I'm not sure what county they were in, but they put a glass of water on the counter and it was like jiggling and shaking and moving constantly 24/7. Can you imagine being jiggled in your home 24/7 for the rest of your life because a data center went up outside of your backyard? It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And thank you, Buskman, for your efforts in your home state. Pray for me. I'm exposing this. Thank you very much, Buskman. Appreciate you. Guitar Lily, where are the so-called climate activist losers? I'm telling you, Guitar Lily, I think we have them in New York State, and that's why we don't have the problem with the data centers. There aren't very many projects here in New York State for data centers, which is very surprising because New York State, especially the Finger Lakes region where I reside, we have a heavy access to fresh water. In fact, some of the most fresh water on the face of the planet. We have Lake Ontario, which sits to the north, and then we have the Finger Lakes as well. And so you would think that the data center people would really want to eyeball New York State, especially the Finger Lakes region. I hope I just didn't give them any ideas. But I would say, if I were to guess, I'm not sure why this is not a thing in New York, but I'm guessing it's the environmentalist wackos in New York State, which is actually like a good thing. And guess what? If the environmentalist wackos who vote Democrat and consider themselves to be liberal stand up, turn out, and protest data centers in New York, guess what girl is going to be there right with them? Probably getting arrested after I chain myself to a tree. This girl. All right? Because I don't care. You know what the Joy Doctrine is, the Shannon Joy Doctrine. I don't care what letter you have behind your name. I don't care who you voted for president. I don't care if you're a liberal, conservative, Democrat, Republican. If you're standing up for truth in the moment, if you are telling the truth, and pursuing justice according to the principles that I believe in, I'm going to stand with you. And I don't care what you did yesterday or the day before or the day before that. And then when you change, if you stop standing up for truth and start telling lies, stop standing up and activating for justice, then I'm going to move away from you. And that's just how I roll. And this is why, as you guys know, there are certain people who used to be on the Shannon Joy Show as expert guests. They're no longer on the show because most of them have decided to get on the Trump train and Trump hump over the past 18 months. And this has been happening throughout my career. I make friends and then I lose friends, usually around election time. I lose half my friends around election time, right? Because the friends I always make, it's always issues based. It's always me going out there, finding people who are telling the truth, fighting for justice, and saying, hey, come on my show. Let's collaborate. Let me help you. Let me help you get your message out. And we're going to continue to do that here on the show. We're going to help any organization that is fighting back against these data centers, any Substack platform, any YouTube platform, any attorney. If they're pushing back on this stuff, they're going to have a place here in the Shannon Joy Show. So there we go. And listen, it's kept the show small but big enough, right? We're going to take a quick break. We're going to get back to. So thank you to Will Hollingsworth for bringing the fire. In Ohio, we need about 150 more of Will Hollingsworths to descend and deploy to local board meetings across the U.S., and I think that we can do it. So does this spell doomsday for data centers? Well, listen, it's not looking good. And I have examples, lots of examples about how these data centers are going down, they're crashing and burning, and the people are winning as they rage against the machine. We're going to hit that when we come back. We're going to go back to the live chats. I'm going to check the Substack chat. So if you're on Substack, if you're on YouTube, please leave me a comment and I will read it when we come back in. Of course, we'll also go to the Rumble chat as well. Keep it tuned right here on the Shannon Joy Show. We will be back in just a moment. Hey everyone, I am so proud to recommend Schiff Gold to this audience as the gold standard for metals purchasing and investing. I couldn't ask for a better partner to help people understand gold and silver and use them as strategic instruments to protect their family's financial future. Peter Schiff's teaching on markets has shaped my understanding of how economies grow and why they collapse. And I've used them as a critical source for my daily broadcast for over 10 years. The Shannon Joy Show audience already knows and loves Peter because he has been such a treasured educator over the years. He is now the preeminent source for rock-solid financial analysis around the world. And this is because he understands the immutable laws of natural markets and his stalwart unwillingness to veer from absolute truths regardless of economic fads and political pressures. Bottom line, he doesn't sell out. And that means a lot to me. I trust Schiff Gold, and you can too. Go to schiffgold.com/joy today to get started. You'll find some of the lowest spot prices for gold and silver and critical information on protecting your retirement savings with a gold or silver IRA. That's www.schiffgold.com/joy. Hedge against the chaos with our friends over at Schiff Gold. Please head over to theshannonjoy.com, theshannonjoy.com. This is my independent platform. It is my website. I own it. And the email list that I have created with all of you, those of you who have signed up for the Shannon Joy daily email, it is so important. It's the most critical element in terms of my connection to all of you. Should I be deplatformed on YouTube or Twitter or Rumble or any of the platforms that we are pushed out on today, it is my one line to all of you. It's where I can contact you directly and let you know where to find the show. I will never forget the censorship of 2020. I was permanently suspended on Twitter. I was completely shadow banned on Facebook. I lost the entirety of both audiences in the span of 30 days. In the early days of the Shannon Joy Show, I was completely yanked off of a radio station because I continued to critique Donald Trump, and it was a right-wing radio station. Overnight, I lost my entire platform. Thank God 10 years ago, or was 8 years ago, I had built up a presence on Twitter and Facebook and was able to continue the show until I moved it to another platform, a 50,000 watt radio station just down the road. But I am very familiar with being deplatformed and it happening very fast. That email list is everything. It is my pipeline to all of you. So if you haven't signed up for the SJ email list, please do so today. Go to theshannonjoy.com. That is theshannonjoy.com, and make sure that we're connected.
This is Jennifer with darkbags.com. I wanted to show you one of our newest products from Escape Zone. This is our satellite Faraday sleeve. So it actually will fit your satellite phone, which we've noticed that there wasn't any product on the market that perfectly fit them, so we decided to make them ourselves. And it has this Velcro closure right here to close it up, and that makes this dust and water resistant. So what's nice about this Faraday pouch is that it'll protect against any EMPs, so your device is, your emergency device actually will always be protected in here as long as it stays in here. You can take it out for everyday use, but if you're not using it, we recommend that you store it in here. Again, this is available on darkbags.com.
All right, everyone, that's darkbags.com, or you can go to sat123.com/joy, sat123.com/joy. Final segment of the Shannon Joy Show. Anything that you have seen in the news over the past couple days that you want to ask me about or comment on, now is the time. The Rumble Live chat is bustling today. I see all of you. Mr. Worthless Eater is with us. LT Oracle of Truth. Ollie Robin 9 has joined us as well. Are there any headlines, any topics, any questions that you have for me? Anything that is interesting to all of you? Now is the time to ask those questions and push up those comments as we close out this edition of the Shannon Joy Show. Tom Massey will be joining me tomorrow live. That's Congressman Tom Massey tomorrow live on the Shannon Joy Show. Mark your calendars, 12:05 p.m. Eastern Time. We're starting a little bit early to accommodate his schedule. So normally we start the show around 12:15. We're going to start around 11:55. I'll intro the show, and then we're going to have a full 30 minutes with Congressman Tom Massey. Big interview today, and there is a lot to talk about. So make sure that you are tuning in tomorrow on the Shannon Joy Show. Also, I would love to meet all of you. As you know, I'm running for Lieutenant Governor of New York State here in the great state of New York alongside Larry Sharpe. He's an independent candidate. He is looking to present New Yorkers with another option outside of the Democrats and Republicans. Why? Because, well, they're corrupt. They work together. It's a uniparty here in New York State, and they have entered into a power sharing arrangement where the Democrats run everything and the Republicans pretend to run but always lose and then just get rich in contracts and in campaigning. And so this has been going on in New York State for well over 2 decades, and it just has to stop. So Larry and I are attempting to get on the ballot in 2026, in the fall of 2026, to run for governor. So right now we are petitioning. We're getting as many signatures as we can so that we can get our names on the ballot. And I would love to meet you. We are going to be live at the Lilac Festival in Rochester, New York this coming Saturday. Larry is coming in from New York City. He's going to be with us all day. We're going to have a meet and greet after the event at the Lilac Festival. It's in Rochester, New York. And I think we're going to be there from 1 p.m. until 3 p.m. weather permitting. So I would love to see all of you. LarrySharpe.com. That's LarrySharpe.com is going to have information on that event. You'll know exactly where to go. Come inside my petition. I would love to meet you. Larry would love to meet you. And I think he's going to have a speech as well. So that's going to be super fun. That is this Saturday. All of your information on petitioning, signatures, the organization, you can join the campaign team, is at LarrySharpe with an E.com. So head over there. Ollie Robin 9, are we still at war? Who the heck knows? But the aliens are coming. Oh my gosh, the alien BS. It's like ridiculous. We're going to get to that in a minute as we close out. Yeah, Ollie Robin, are we under attack? I mean, zombies, aliens. I mean, the headlines, it's kind of ridiculous. Let's do the data centers first because I want to leave you guys with something really positive, and then we're going to get to the aliens. We'll finish with aliens because I feel as if people need to know what's really going on with the aliens. And we're going to slap that right down on the kitchen table right here on the SJ show and talk about what's really going on. So we'll end with that. You tell me what you think. I'll tell you what I think. And then, we'll end the show and we'll come back tomorrow and talk to Tom Massey about it. Thank God Tom Massey is not doing the alien thing. Like, Tim Burchett is great. Anna Paulina Luna. I actually had something nice to say about her a couple days ago because of her amendments that stripped liability protection for glyphosate for chemical companies. It was great. But it's like every time they do something great, then they go off the rails with the alien BS, which is just, oh my gosh. It's just insane. Let's just hope that the alien thing, well, we're going to talk about the alien thing, but let's talk about doomsday for data centers because this is great. There have been a lot of notable examples of data center projects that were canceled, withdrawn, blocked, or significantly stalled due to local opposition from residents, community groups, and officials. It's because people like Will Hollingsworth are standing up at local meetings across the United States of America, and they are raging against the machines in their backyard. The data centers are good for no one but the billionaire oligarchs and tech bros and the people who want to surveil us 24/7 and lock us in a digital prison. We don't want it. The data centers are critical for them rolling out that digital police state, and we just have to stop them. And we can. Now, the concerns that people are leveling at these meetings have to do with energy and water usage, the noise, which is insane, visual impact, strain on infrastructure, their property values, which are plummeting, environmental effects, and also a clear, obvious lack of sufficient community benefits, aka zero, double zero, like no benefits. There's not a single benefit for a single member of any community that gets a data center, not one. And the people who are pushing the data centers can't give the community or the people in the community any real benefits because there are none. And so this makes these efforts incredibly vulnerable. And we, the people of the United States of America, have to attack. We have to attack. And one of the ways to do that is to generate hype and really show the success stories. So this is amazing. In just the past few months, there have been many examples of these data center projects getting thrown in the trash bin. Track's $14 billion project in Buckeye, Goodyear area in Arizona. Okay. This was a massive proposed campus, nearly 30 buildings, and it was withdrawn after strong pushback from local residents and officials. In Diod Ventures, they wanted to put in a $1.5 billion Harper Road Tech Park in Missouri, and residents formed a group called Don't Dump Data in Peculiar, which is awesome, citing visual impact, noise, and property values. There was a grassroots operation, and the Board of Aldermen ended up passing an ordinance removing data centers from the zoning. In Provident Realty Advisors, they had a $1.3 billion project slated to go in Chesterton, Indiana. And this was a massive proposal for 8 buildings on a former golf site. This was withdrawn after significant local resistance over air, water quality, wildlife, property values, you name it. The developer pulled the application. In Cascade Locks, Oregon, Roundhouse Digital Infrastructure, they had a $100 million project, and residents opposed it due to potential utility rate hikes and issues with the developer's credibility. 2 local officials in this case were recalled, leading the Port Authority to discontinue the project amidst political backlash. And that's just in the past couple years. In 225 alone, and this is what should give you an enormous amount of hope. At least 25 data center projects were canceled, up from 6 in 2024, with broader estimates of 48 projects being blocked or stalled. These are worth over $150 billion. Because of what? Local opposition. You and me. Standing up, speaking out. Will Hollingsworth taking the time to write a 4-minute speech that brought down the House in his hometown in Ohio. It is that pushback. We're going up against the machine, the monsters, $150 billion in data center projects, absolutely wiped out by local opposition. Right? You and me. It's amazing. Other cases that we're seeing rejections and moratoriums in places like San Marcos, Texas, New Brunswick, and Phillipsburg, New Jersey. Also, a bunch of pushback in Virginia, Wisconsin, and Michigan locations. We're watching voters oust council members in Missouri towns or ballot measures, as they did in Wisconsin and Ohio. And we're watching citizens stand up and organize protests and delays in other areas as well. I mean, there was one story of an entire town board being wiped out. I mean, they had some type of referendum and a vote, and the people of this small, tiny little town literally fired like 7 or 8 local officials over a data center, right? So we need more of this. This is amazing. What do you think about that? Are you guys ready to stand up and speak out and fight back in your hometown? I think that you should. Mr. Worthless Eater is on the live chat. Sam Miller 123, no evil entities allowed on my property. Besides, maybe I will have time travel by then. It's crazy. Zen Woman, well, I just lost another friend because I wouldn't turn off the SJS just now. He had an infantile fit and kicked me out of the car. Zen Women, I need to hear more about what just happened. So what you're listening to the SJ show right now in the car, and you had a friend kick you out of the car because you were listening to the show. What is it that we're saying here that is so offensive? That is hilarious. Dino Fun is with us. We can always have a tea party with these data centers. It'd be a shame if anything ever happened to water powering these things. I mean, listen, Mama C 1996, Oliver County in North Dakota is fighting back. The governor is taking kickbacks from Applied Data. Oh, we've seen that story before, haven't we? It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Clones. Shannon, you should get Douglas Frank, who shows days about how the voter rolls are messed with in elections. Well, yeah, I think that some elections are rigged. Some of the election machines are rigged. I think that it's different in every community, every county, every town, every village. I think the most riggable elections are the big high-profile elections like the presidential election, which I will not be participating in probably ever again. So I will never vote again in a presidential election unless something drastically changes in this country and I can regain trust in a voting system. But until then, it's not happening. Gubernatorial elections, probably a little bit easier to rig. But I'm telling you, state elections, statewide elections, local elections, elections for zoning board, town board, village board, elections for mayors, much more difficult to rig those elections. And even sometimes when they try, if you win with a large enough margin, you can overwhelm any attempts at rigging. So I do have a problem with people who are going to come on and say that, there's no reason to organize, advocate, build coalitions, build parties, engage in local elections and the local electoral process or the statewide electoral process because they're all rigged, because you can't prove that they're all rigged. And some of them aren't. And we get good people. I mean, somehow Thomas Massie has been able to wiggle through all of this for the majority of his career. We're going to see what happens in Kentucky with him. But I don't always like bringing on guests like that because it has the impact of turning people off from activating. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to black pill people. I mean, that's the equivalent of saying that evil always wins, the bad guy always wins, we never get any justice, and there's nothing we can do. And I know so many people who use that mantra to justify the fact that they are not engaging in civics and not engaging in civic life. They're using it as an excuse for their apathy and their indifference. And that's not okay. That is why we are in the predicament that we are in today. Because too many Americans decided that it didn't matter. And sometimes that comes from people relentlessly telling them that it doesn't matter, that the end is coming. I have so much disdain for people who are in my industry, who spend all day frightening their audiences about global worldwide collapse and the zombie apocalypse and alien invasions and all of the things, right? The bad, evil Democrats. Every day it is doom and gloom, one black pill after another. There's nothing we can do, right? The only thing that you can do, according to so many of the highest platformed commentators in America, especially on the right, the only thing you can do is vote in the most important election of your lifetime. And they say that every single 2-year cycle and every single 4-year cycle. And everyone they push out and everyone they declare inevitable, Donald Trump over the past 2 cycles has betrayed every promise that he's ever made. And we're worse off now. So, the idea that the only thing that you can do is idol worship some political actor and pull a lever every 2 or 4 years in a voting booth and put a yard sign in your lawn. The only active way to engage is through one of these political parties like the Democrat Party or the Republican Party, when we know they're both corrupted and they're money-making operations and power-sharing operations. That's where the left-wing news media directs you. It's where the right-wing news media directs you. It's where Con Inc. directs you. It's where even the new America First movement is coalescing around candidates. They still want us in that national electoral framework, D versus R, right? I reject all of that. But we can make a difference when we are vigilant, we're active, we're aware, we're outside of the two-party political paradigm, and we're activating in our communities. Our mission and what we should be doing should be defensive in nature at all times, pushing back. So, yeah. Sam Miller 123. These governors are paid very well under the table. Your vote or protesting matters not. They have already made up their minds to put them exactly where they want them. Absolutely. Sam Miller 123. It's one of the reasons that I'm running with Larry Sharp here in New York State as lieutenant governor. We are running on an anti-corruption platform and a full transparency platform. Is it a long shot? Yes. But you still try it. You still get out there and you still do it, regardless of the outcomes. LT Oracle of Truth, I see you. I lived in Illinois most of my life. We used to have a conservative governor named Jim Thompson. Oh, we used to have conservative governors. Yeah, it's crazy. But, it's no reason to give up, right? And we don't give up here on the Shannon Joy Show. Andrea 62703. Shannon, have you tried to reach out to Richard Barris about his polling showing that people are fed up? I would love to, hear from him. Listen, you guys, everybody wants me to reach out to everybody every day. It is, and there are only so many hours in a day. And so I do the best I can. The best way for them to get a hold of me is to shoot me an email if someone wants to come on the show or talk about something. Be super pithy, make it very clear, very concise, and send me an email, theshannonjoyshow@gmail.com, theshannonjoyshow@gmail.com, and then we can see about getting them on the show. But it's a lot. But I've never heard of him. So, Andrea, you're going to have to give me a little bit more information. All right, guys, it looks like our time is up. We're going to get out of here exactly, I think, right at the 1 hour, 30-minute mark. It was great to be with all of you today. Everything that we discussed today is linked in the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show. So we have the footage of the speech by, what was his name? I keep forgetting his name. Will Hollingsworth. That is linked in the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show. We also have a couple stories that we referenced today on the SJ Show that are also linked. All of those references are there, along with all of my links to all of our sponsors. So if you're in the market for any of the goods or services that we talked about today on the Shannon Joy Show, from PCM and Associates, Shift Gold, the Wellness Company, and the satellite phone store, sat123.com/joy. Please make sure that you patronize them and let them know I sent you. I handpick these advertisers, and I've had a long relationship with all of them. And these are advertisers. I use their products. I use their services. I'm working with their people, and I trust them. That's why they're Shannon Joy Show advertisers. So please make sure that you are supporting the sponsors that support the Shannon Joy Show. Sign up for that email, guys. TheShannonJoy.com, TheShannonJoy.com is where you're going to go to sign up for my daily e-newsletter. It's where I send you the title of my show, the description of the show, and all of my resources, all of the links and the news articles that we talk about, and of course, all of the links to my advertisers. So that goes out every single day, and it will overview what we're doing and make it so that you never miss an episode of the Shannon Joy Show. LT Oracle of Truth, thank you for signing up for the newsletter. Appreciate you. And D. Kelly Girl, great to see you on the live chat. Glad you're there. Mod Trend, great to see you as well. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Sam Miller, Mark the Regan, you guys are great. David Leach, the Strident Conservative, so glad to see you as well. For those of you watching on Substack, great to see you. Make sure you subscribe to the Shannon Joy Show. Same with those who are watching on YouTube and Twitter. Again, retweets, reposts, a thumbs up, a comment in the comment section or in the live chat. These are all ways that we really nurture the algorithm so that the Shannon Joy Show can grow organically. Not fake bots and trolls who watch the show, but a real human audience. And that is dependent on all of you. So everything that you do when you're watching is helping us grow the show. And of course, we'll be back tomorrow to do it all again. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. Tom Massey joins us live, 12:05 p.m. That is 12:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Tom Massey on the Shannon Joy Show live. He has a big interview with Tucker Carlson tonight. I will be watching that as part of my show prep. And if there are any questions that you guys want me to ask, make sure that you reach out to me. Again, my email for the show is the shannonjoyshow@gmail.com. theshannonjoyshow@gmail.com. Thank you for being with me today. We'll be back tomorrow to do it all again right here on the Shannon Joy Show.